Do you know that far away in a remote African region, there is a village where Christmas is a season of dread rather than joy? This village has carried a heavy curse for generations, a shadow that darkens every December. It wasn't always this way. The villagers once celebrated Christmas with the brightest lights, the loudest drums, and the most vibrant feasts. But a single act of cruelty set them on a path of despair, a path that no one can forget and no one can escape. Many years ago, in the village of Olamo, a prosperous community thrived. Fertile lands yielded abundant harvests, and the rivers teemed with fish. The people, though simple, were proud and united, until a tragic injustice tore their harmony apart. The Adu family lived on the outskirts of the village. They were reclusive, barely engaging in the village's social gatherings. Rumors swirled about them. Some said they practiced strange rituals. Others claimed they harbored a secret treasure. But in truth, they were just private, hard-working people with one beloved daughter, Ifeoma, who had left to study in the city. Ifeoma rarely visited, and communication was limited to letters exchanged every few months. One fateful year, the village fell into chaos. The rain stopped coming, the river dried up, and the fertile lands turned barren. People went hungry and tensions ran high. The village elders consulted the river goddess, their spiritual protector, and pleaded for her mercy. She agreed to save them, but at a cost. "The land will flourish again," the goddess proclaimed through her priestess, "but only if a sacrifice is made on Christmas Eve. A large calabash must be prepared, filled with offerings of the finest produce and left at the sacred grove. However, heed this commandment: no one must cross the path of the sacrifice. If anyone or anything does, they shall be taken as the offering instead." The villagers agreed, desperate to save their home. Preparations began weeks in advance. The Adu family, like everyone else, received the news and sent a warning letter to Ifeoma, urging her to stay away until after Christmas. But letters were slow, and the family could only hope that their daughter received the message in time. The evening of Christmas Eve arrived, and the village gathered in somber silence. A procession of priests carried the calabash through the village toward the sacred grove. Torches lit their path, casting eerie shadows on the ground. No one dared step outside, not even to peek at the procession. Halfway to the grove, the priests encountered a lone figure on the road, a young woman carrying a bag, her face lit with joy. "Good evening," she greeted them, her voice full of warmth. "I am Ifeoma, returning home to my parents. Can you tell me?" Before she could finish, the priests froze. One of them, the junior priest, whispered, "She has crossed the path." The head priest hesitated. The law of the river goddess was absolute. Ifeoma's innocent arrival had sealed her fate. With heavy hearts, the priests seized her, ignoring her cries and pleas. Her life was offered to the goddess, and the calabash continued its journey to the grove. The next morning, the village celebrated as rains poured from the skies, filling the rivers and soaking the earth. Crops began to sprout almost immediately, and the air buzzed with renewed hope. But for the Adu family, there was no joy. The king himself sent gifts to their home, sacks of food, clothes, and other luxuries. The family was baffled. Why would the king show them such kindness? They had lived in quiet anonymity for years. Suspicious, Ifeoma's father began asking questions. A junior priest, overcome with guilt, eventually confessed. The man's heart shattered. Furious, he stormed the palace with a cutlass, determined to kill the king. Before he could reach the throne, the king's guards struck him down. News of his death spread quickly. Ifeoma's mother, overcome with grief and rage, walked to the center of the village. In the pouring rain, she dug a shallow grave with her bare hands and climbed inside. Her voice echoed through the village as she screamed her curse. "This village will never know peace. Every December, chaos will reign. Floods will drown your lands, your crops will wither, and your people will die. You will pay for your cruelty for generations to come." With those words, she took her last breath. Since that day, the curse has held strong. Every December, Olamo descends into chaos. The rains that once brought life now bring floods. Crops rot in the fields, and illness spreads like wildfire. Darkness shrouds the village, and no Christmas lights ever shine. The villagers have tried everything to lift the curse, more sacrifices, prayers, even abandoning Christmas altogether, but nothing works. the descendants of Olamo's ancestors still bear the weight of their forebears' sins, living in fear of a season that brings joy to the rest of the world. And so, Olamo remains the village that should never celebrate Christmas,